Buen dia. Howdy, welcome to Single Black Man from Des Moines. My name is Al Simon Jr. A little about me: I was a dog handler in the service. I've worked in retail, healthcare, and libraries. I've taught Hapkido for over 20 years. I am currently single and retired from marriage. Now I'm a fledgling writer. From time to time, I'll read some of my pieces, fiction and nonfiction, and also, time permitting, I might tell a joke that I've heard from the past. I like to keep these around 10 minutes. This story here is kind of long, so this is going to be part one. I'll post stuff every week, so please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to purchase my works, I have some things at Smashwords, or you can email me at al_simon@hotmail.com, and I'll send you a complete list of my works and all the prices. If you order from me, it'll be cheaper than going through Smashwords. However, I only accept PayPal. If you need more flexibility in payment, then go to Smashwords. Having said all that, let me tell you a story. This is called Right of Way. It's about a martial art instructor, a wayward student, and a jealous fellow instructor. Again, this is going to be part one. Right of Way. The problem with Marcus Wheeler, thought Dolph James, Wheeler's martial art instructor, was his cockiness. So much so, one would think that he created the martial art as opposed to being the student. That is, if one were to listen to Wheeler. Dolph took this in stride. He had an exhibition for his school coming up, and Wheeler would play a significant role. Dolph had been teaching his hybrid form of martial arts for over 20 years, and since then found most students had some kind of peccadillo. When Wheeler won his black belt, Dolph observed a change in the student. During class, he'd either interrupt or add to whatever Dolph was imparting, as if he were a lieutenant or a second instructor, which he clearly was not. Again, Dolph took this in stride and seldom stepped on the student. It didn't take much on his part to show that he was teacher and more dominant than his fledgling student. It made him smile as he recalled what his instructor from South Korea said of him once he got his first degree black belt: babies walking. Dolph was now watching Wheeler spar with another baby walking in Victoria Crawford. She wasn't a black belt yet. She was a second degree brown and would soon test for her black. He'd been teaching Crawford off and on for 5 years. She was a corrections officer at Mitchellville Prison for Women. She attended class when her schedule allowed. There were some women he taught that hated sparring. A lot of the men didn't know their own strength, and then there was that factor of showing dominance over a lesser belt, especially over a woman. Perhaps it was her correctional training, but Crawford showed no fear in sparring. She wore more padding than the men, but that was to minimize bruising more than anything. She was a methodical fighter. Where Wheeler would go 90 miles per hour, she'd fend off his blows and kicks and would counterattack when she had the opening. There were 20 students sparring on the gym floor. To accommodate the other students, sparring was done in a lane, very much like what fencers do. The sparring was very similar as well, with students attacking and riposting. Wheeler liked to initiate with an aerial kick and follow up with a series of punches. This tended to back students up. However, Crawford held her ground. She waited for him to land and followed up with a flurry of kicks that made Wheeler retreat. There's an expression in basketball: teams that like to press don't like to be pressed. This was true with Wheeler. He was used to having an upper hand with whomever he sparred. Although he wasn't threatened per se by Crawford's attack, the look on his face showed some irritation. Once she forced him to the edge of the mat, she ceased fighting as gym etiquette decreed. She stepped back to the middle of the lane and waited for him. He attacked with vengeance. Again, his initial move was an aerial. He had hops and could leap high. He used a combination groin and inside circle kick. The groin kick was enough to make Crawford move back. Blocking the inside circle kick was another matter, and again she gave way. It wasn't long before she was also at the end of the mat. With nothing but a wall behind her, gym etiquette required Wheeler to cease fighting and return to the middle of the lane. However, it was obvious that he felt slighted and humbled by Crawford's initial salvo. Instead of ceasing, he shot a swift sidekick to her midsection that propelled her backwards. As she bounced from the wall, he knelt and let her stumble over his back and went crashing to the mat. It was then Dolph James clapped his large hands twice. Everyone in the room froze. "Finish," was all he said. He went to the head of the class and waited for everyone to sit behind him, all on folded legs, with the first two toes of the right crossing over the first two toes of the left. In Korean, he said, "Charit Kanye," which means attention, bow, as all faced the front of the gym with the Korean and American flag in front and the picture of Dolph James, instructor, in the middle. Then he pirouetted on his knees and had the class bow to him again saying, "Charit Kanye," ending with the word "finish." As all students began to file out, he hailed Wheeler. "Marcus, a word." Wheeler had already untied his judo gi and was holding his black belt in hand. Sweat was glistening on his black skin. "Yes, Sabanim?" "I was watching your free fight." "Yes, Sabanim?" Dolph turned and headed to his cabinet of gear. He began to remove a vest, gloves, and helmet. Wheeler watched nervously as he knew where this was headed. Without turning around, Dolph said, "Put on some gear." "I'm tired, Sabanim." Dolph began to put on his safety equipment. As he dressed, he said nothing. "Did I do something wrong?" "If you don't know, that makes the matter even worse." "Is this about Victoria, your pet?" Dolph looked up. Although there was no hint of anger in his eyes, a serious cloud came over them. "Put on some gear." "No!" Wheeler's voice was on the verge of breaking. "Put on some gear or leave your black belt behind." There was a tone of finality to his words. "You can't make me fight you, Dolph." There were students in the dressing room, all within earshot. Some stood on the periphery of the gym, waiting to see what was going to happen. It wasn't long before Wheeler rushed out, his judo gi flowing behind him, sans his black belt. We're going to end it right there. And again, that was part 1 of Right Away. Again, if you like any of my works, you can purchase them from Smashwords, or you can go directly through me at al_Simon@hotmail.com, and I'll send you a complete list of my prices and the stories that I have for you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, thanks for tuning in. Get Al out of the ghetto, and I'm going to finish with this. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.